Let's talk about the parts of the bow. At this end of the bow, we have the bow tip. It's the most delicate part of the bow. You can see it's pretty tiny. And the bow tip is this whole section here, but there's actually another bow tip, and it's just called the tip. It's an extra piece made out of plastic or bone, usually bone for a really nice bow, and it's on the top of the tip because this is the most easily broken part of the bow. If you have a plastic or fiberglass bow, you're probably going to be okay, but the nicer your bow is, the bigger chance that this tip might break. So you don't want to be one of those bow toe people that hits the tip of their bow against their toe. In our violin shop, that's probably the most common way that people break the tip of their bow, or just walking around not paying attention, hitting that bow on something in their house. So be very careful with the tip. At this side of the tip, we have where the hair comes in, and there's a plug under there. There's a little piece of wood that holds that hair in. Remember, if you lose a hair and you have some and you need to take it out, make sure you just clip it off super close to the edge of the tip. Don't pull it out, because there's a whole bunch of hairs with a band around them holding the hairs together. If you pull too many out, you won't have enough hair to keep in what they call the hank. And so the section of hair may come loose. All your hair might come out of your bow. So remember, clip the ends off if you lose a hair. That's bound to happen as you play your instrument more. Coming down on this side, we have another plug, and it's actually a spreader, and it's a little bit wider piece of wood. And that is what makes the hair separate. So if you notice all your hairs are together, you probably either have lost way too many and need your bow rehaired, or you may have lost your separator. And then there's a plug on top of that. And then this is the ferrule, the little silver part. Some bows that will slide, you shouldn't be able to slide it. It should hopefully stay right on top of the hair. But when you get it rehaired, they'll take that ferrule out and put new hair in. And then you have the frog, this part right here, and the eye of the frog. There's a little dot on both sides. That's important for knowing where to place your hand. And then there's the screw that loosens and tightens the bow. Remember to tighten your bow righty-tighty just until the hairs kind of come together into a pack before you rosin and play. And then when you're done playing for the day, make sure you loosen your bow. If you leave your bow tight, especially very tight, for a long time, you'll lose the camber or the bend in the bow, and that hair will get to the point where it's stretched out and you won't be able to loosen and tighten the bow well. So make sure you loosen it each day when you put it away. Not so loose that these hairs are going to get stuck on the turner when you put it in the case, but do make sure that the bow hair has been loosened slightly. The top part is called the stick, and it's usually made out of Brazil wood if you have a cheaper bow, or Pernambuco if you have a more advanced bow. You might notice if your bow is octagonal, if it's an octagon shape, that's a little bit fancier bow. You can get also a round bow. You can get bows that are made out of plastic or fiberglass. I actually really like the fiberglass bows for students. If you get a beginner bow in your package, but you would like a better bow, you could always upgrade to a fiberglass bow. And so those are super fun, and sometimes they're laminated with pretty fun colors like purple and pink and sparkly blue. Then this part here is the horsehair. We want to try to avoid touching it with our fingers as much as possible because our fingers have oils on them. It'll get the bow hair dirty and also make it so the bow hair doesn't sound as great, or so the rosin won't adhere well to the bow hair. So if you need to check every once in a while to make sure you have rosin on there, that's okay. But besides that, I would try to keep your fingers off the bow hair, and definitely never touch the bow hair if your hands are wet or if they haven't been washed and dried. If you have anything oily on your hands at all, we've seen it all. If you have butter on your hands and you touch the bow, it's not going to make a sound in the middle. So don't touch the hair with oily or dirty hands.